I just wanted to do a little video for you guys about airbrush makeup. So first I want to let you know I am gonna just take a minute just to do just a little informative video first on specifically your airbrush machine, what to know, just little snippets on that. And then there will be a little video of where I'm actually doing airbrush and even a little bit of a makeup application on somebody pretty special to me. So this is just so I can get this out and just talk to you guys about it. If there's any other questions that you want to know, I would love to do another video. I am trying to get used to this since we are home, and I want you guys to keep getting education from us. So this is my little bit where I get to talk to you about my favorite thing, which is makeup. So first things first, I want to little bit talk to you about different types of airbrush. So there in this industry are so many brands, okay? And you know, you're gonna be using something with us that might be different than when you get into the salon and or into the spa salon in the industry in general. So I'll tell you a little some of the brands that I've used before, which has been obviously Class. I've been using that now, I believe, for the past year and a half, but I have also used Headlux, which that's what I was introduced to when I was in cosmetology school at Nova. We used Headlux at that point, but then I've also used Temp 2 and Dinair. So there's a bunch of different ones. You just have to find the right one that fits you, and right now I love my Class one. So I'm gonna show you my airbrush and what I do to perfect the airbrush look. So of course, like I said in many times before talking to you guys about makeup, the main thing to really get that flawless look is to make sure that you have taken into consideration the type of skin your client has. And if you guys are going into the spa or salon right now, I'm freelance makeup artist, so I don't get to do my skincare services with them anymore. So I still though do take the time to reach out to my brides, and I have conversations with them about what type of skincare that they're using, what they even do, have they ever had a treatment. You know, it's their big day, and I want to make sure that they get the look exactly of what they want, and it starts with the base, which is your skin. So I informed them when I was in the salon. I did do treatments with my clients up until their wedding day. You don't want to do it even a month before. I would get them planned right when they start booking with you for their wedding. I would get them on a skincare regimen and a treatment system. So getting them into just basic facials and really exfoliating is a big thing that people do not do, that they need to be informed on why it's so important. And also, you know, stimulating the skin, for example, with just simple things like the blueberry detox and lime stimulating, which is from our Eminence line. There's just little things like that, but I want you to remember to always have that conversation with them. But then on their big day, if you want, you can tell them, you know, I'll take care of your skincare that day, so you can bring the moisturizer, the eye cream, the whatever you like to prep your client's skin with, but just always talk to them, you know, about their allergies and if they're sensitive and things like that, which you'll know. So I'm gonna jump into talking about the airbrush machine now. So yes, you've taken the time to get to know your client and you know what their skincare type is, if they're dry, oily, combo, mature. You need to know all of those things. So like I said, I've tried many different airbrush machines, and I love the Class one because, as you can see here, this where you put your makeup in is it's large, and I like that just because when I'm doing my brides and the bridal parties, typically it seems as if they don't know this, but I like to do clients based on their skin tone. So I usually like to start the lighter to darker skin tones. So I can start with the lighter colors first and then work my way back up to the darker. So this one is phenomenal, and I love it also because it doesn't splatter anywhere, because it is a nice big area for the makeup to hold. So you can see this is, I do have it hooked up to my machine here, which I will hold it up for you. Here's my machine, Class Makeup. I love this machine because it does have the 3 different levels of pressure that comes through. So you have the light pressure, the medium, and then the heavier pressure. So yeah, I typically run all makeup applications on the 3rd level, so the highest level, just because, you know, I have been doing this for a while, and so I'm very comfortable with my airbrush makeup applications, and 2, I like to get done quickly, and the makeup comes out a little bit quicker when I have it on that higher level. But when I do get to the more delicate areas of the face, especially depending on the shape of my client's face, you know, if they have, it just kind of depends. I'll have to have a client to show you exactly what I mean. But for example, when I do go around the nose and the creases of the outer corners of the lip, even around certain types of eyes, I do go to the lower levels, sometimes even on the 1st level, just because it doesn't come out as heavy and it's very soft. So yeah. With that being said, I do have it on the level 3, and one way to start practicing your makeup applications, which even still to this day, I practice, you guys, I truly do, and whether it's on my friends, my family, whomever, I sometimes just try a little makeup application. But what I also do use too are good old paper towels, okay? They are a beautiful resource to use while you're practicing makeup application or airbrush makeup applications, because you can see everything. I'll do a couple sprays so you guys can see what I mean by that, but I do have in here, what I'm using is the darkest shade that I have, so you guys can see it. I don't even know what number it is. It is number 50, which is very dark. So you guys will be able to see it on my paper towel. So yeah, which this here, I don't think I've touched it really with my clientele, so I could use this also as a contour color if I wanted to use it up, but I like using different products for that. But I know a lot of makeup artists who do use airbrush for blush and contour, which is really fun. I just prefer different, which is okay. Everybody's different. So I have my makeup in there, and I did put about 7 drops in there. A little goes a long way for your makeup applications. I mean, I can always add more. You know, I'd rather not put a bunch in there and then I'm done with my client and I have tons left over, and then I'd have to either dump it out if the client after her is not the same skin tone, or I can't mix it or something like that. So I just like to use a little bit at a time just so I don't overuse. So as you're going to see, the different parts of your airbrush, I can definitely label those in a picture for you if you really want to know. But in the first part, the main area that I take the most care of is actually the needle that's inside the airbrush. That is your one thing that I really highly suggest to just be super, super careful with, because it's the most delicate, and even if that little tip of the needle, which is in this little hole here, gets nicked or dropped or anything and that comes off, kind of gonna have to get something to fix it or get a new one, or it's not gonna work. So just be super careful with your airbrush. Treat it like your little baby. I know I do, and every time that I'm done with a bridal party, I clean it out, I let it air out when I get home, you know, just take very good care of it. Anyways, so I do have it on the highest level, and first of all, I forgot to tell you guys what I do. Another thing that I love about my Class airbrush machine is that it's quiet when I'm not using it. So here, I'll let you hear it. So right now I'm not pulling the trigger, but now, so then it stops when I lift my finger off, which I love. So then when I'm talking to my clients, it's not like the whole time that I'm with them. So yeah, we'll just jump into this. I want to show you my technique of how I practice with the paper towel. So yeah, we'll just go into that. So I do have it on the third setting, which is the highest. I think you guys can see this. Okay, so you're just gonna gently press down on your trigger here so it's not blowing anything out right now with me just pressing down. But the minute that I pull back, it's gonna start blowing foundation, okay? So I just have it down, and first what I wanna do is I make sure that I start further back from my client. I don't wanna be right up to their face. I technically am probably back about 5 to 6 inches, depending on the coverage of application that I want, but I definitely, to start off with, I do start further back because I don't want any random dots or heavy coverage in one area and then not in the other. So you want to make it as even as possible. So I start out further, so as you can hear it, oh, let's see. Boop. We'll see if you guys can see this. Anyways, okay, so here I'm going to spray. I'm gonna kind of do an off. I'm not gonna do my best work because I want you guys to see the difference between where I'm too heavy and where I maybe want to take my level down a little bit on my airbrush, or if I feel like I need to be further back, or if I'm staying too close to the client in one area at a time. So right here, as you can see, I got really heavy right there, okay? And then all around here, it got lighter. So you have to keep an eye on that, because in your client's pictures, you will be able to see those spots, okay? And there's many ways that you can blend it out. So we start further back. Okay, so I'm still working around that one spot, and I'm gonna make it even darker so you guys can see the difference. So I'm really close right now to my paper. Okay, so there, look at that. That is too close to the face, okay? That is where you get lines. That is where you get uneven makeup applications. So the further you stay away, the better, especially with your first layer of airbrush, especially if there's somebody like me who likes full coverage. I like to do the first layer further away. So yeah, as you can see, that's very, very dark, one, and then two, it was just way too close and heavy, okay? But let me grab a different paper towel. 1 second. All right, so I am going to change my level to the second level on my machine. So it's a little bit lower and not as heavy of a spray. So I am starting out further. And while you're doing, oh, I ran out of product. Also, more product comes out, I think I said that, more product comes out when you have it on the third level. Let me get some more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just put 5 droplets in, and I always put my cover back on because air can oxidize your makeup, so always put your covers back on. Okay, so we're gonna start out further. I hope you guys can see this. It's kind of hard with a paper towel because it blows, but we'll work with And I'm making very small circular motions with my with my gun. So always just use your wrist. I feel like if I use my wrist. You might be told different, but personal, I use my wrist because I feel like I have the most mobility that way. My fingers don't move like that. Okay, I feel like I'm too sharp with movements when I use my fingers. So I do my whole wrist, okay? But you do have to be careful with that though too, because I could get too big with my circles and miss the middle, okay? So as I'm putting on their foundation, I have my big circles going, I could miss the inner portion of that area that I was trying to spray. So anyways, and I work on certain sections of the face. Certain sections of the face. So I'm working here is where I'm at. It's as a paper towel, it's kind of hard because it blows. Okay. So that's kind of how I practice my airbrush. So you want it to just be very soft and just looking for those harsh lines. Obviously this is where I was focusing on this area right here. So you just really want to focus on that. That's one of the main things that I did to practice airbrush, was just to make sure that I had even applications. Another little tip is when you do, let's say you do run out of product and you have to refill, when you start back in on your client's face, definitely stay further away, and when you start, you want to go in a circular and then you can move in. You don't want to start right up close and just being straight and not moving, because you're going to get a dot. You're going to get a dot of foundation right there. So you want to push down. Once you pull back, you start turning your brush or your gun, okay? Because then it's going to give that nice even flow of application. Let's see here. I think that's kind of really what I wanted to talk to you guys about before I do my actual application. We'll see how well it goes, because your clients may say that the airbrush does tickle a little bit. So it does have that little where they kind of like cringe a little bit and they're like, oh, that's really cold, or oh, that kind of tickles. So you can just ease them by saying, you know, just relax and just talk them through it. But with my little guest that I'm having later, it's probably gonna really tickle. So anyways, let's think here. I probably should talk to you about cleaning your airbrush. That is something that like I said, I'm just very conscious of. After every single bridal party that I have, I make sure that I do that, because your airbrush is super, super delicate and it can very much get clogged very easy, okay? So first, what I like to use is, as you can see, I have the Dinair airbrush cleaner. I love this one. I love the bottle that it comes in, and I feel like it works really well. So you just put that. I personally fill about halfway. Here I probably use too much, but I feel that saves my airbrush. So you just fill it up and just blow that makeup through. And until you get a clear color on your paper towel, that's when you know that it's clean. So you can do this in between makeup applications as well. Let's say my world was not perfect the way that I wanted to during a bridal party, which it's not about me as the makeup artist, and it's my job. Like, I'm gonna switch. Like, if I have a bride who does have bronze glowy skin because she is a girl who goes tanning compared to the redhead who has very, very, very light skin and does not get tan and actually burns the minute she steps in the sun. If I did the bronzed girl before her, I'm gonna have to clean it out because she will look silly. So I just blow it through. I usually do this on the highest level, and I do open up the needle, which what I mean by that is right here at the very end. You can turn it to where you close the part where the needle's at, or you can open it up nice and wide, which I like doing that when I clean. And also when I do all over makeup applications, you can do that too, which I can get into that later. So I'm just starting to come out clearer. And if you ever need to try and get some more product out and you need to push the airbrush up against your hand and get bubbles, you can do that. And then if I just take, I like to take little Q-tips as well to really get inside to the bottom part where that needle's at, but I will take out my needle and clean in there. I don't ever want to stick a Q-tip down in there and press on that needle because I could break it, and I don't want to do that. So just clean out that. Okay. And I can now shut my airbrush off, because with the class airbrush machine, if you take apart your gun and you still have it plugged in and running, it's gonna blow at you. It'll just keep going. So when we clean, we don't have to have it on. So I'm just gonna take it completely apart. So as you can see, here is that needle. It is literally the most delicate piece of your entire airbrush. Okay, so what I do is I take just a little cotton and I put a little bit of, sorry, my dog is being crazy again. She's always crazy. So here I just put it on a little cotton swab, and I just use the airbrush cleaner that I use to put through my gun, and I just gently swipe that off. Because see there, that was on the needle. If that got dried on there, you're gonna have a clogged airbrush gun. So you wanna get off as much product as possible. And then sometimes after that, I just take another paper towel that doesn't have fuzzies like that, and I just do one gentle swipe through so it's nice and clean, so you don't have any fuzzies on there. And then this is where I would then take my Q-tip. I do put, so I'm gonna use a lip wand right now. I do put a dab of the airbrush cleaner on there, and then I just go right down. Let's see, how am I gonna do this? Right, there's that hole right there. We're gonna just go right down there and clean that out. And then I can take my paper towel, once again, stick the Q-tip right there so it's nice and sharp like that. Take that down, and then you just dry it out. You can let it sit out overnight too and let it dry out once you get home from your bridal party. But I like to do this little piece right away. I've had too many times, too many lessons learned over the years where I forgot to clean my airbrush and it bit me in the butt. So I just have always, ever since those couple times, I'm like, oh my gosh, Kenzie, you need to clean it before you even leave the event center or the house that you're doing makeup at. I don't have to do this deep of a clean, but at least swipe it through, just because we spend money, a lot of money on our quality of machines for airbrush, and I want to keep it nice. So there. And then this came off the front of the gun, which I will show you. So I'm just untwisting the cord here, and then to put it back together, this is the little nozzle that it comes through. All of the makeup comes through at the very tip here. You want to be careful when you put that on too. And then you just twist that on, just nicely, just tight, very gently. It doesn't need to be cranked on. And then this part you want to be very careful with when you put your needle back in. Be extremely gentle. And if you feel it's like stopping somewhere, just wait and figure out why it's stopping. Sometimes it's because I have to put my trigger down, but I don't want to just shove it through because that'll break off the tip of the airbrush. And then there's this tiny little piece as well where this goes on to hold the needle into the gun right here. Again, just finger tight. And then this is the end of the brush, so you can just put that on. And then it's back together, and then you can put it away. And then always just remember, Sarah is one. Obviously, you guys have met Sarah. She'll laugh when she hears this. So many times, oops, I'm back, sorry. So many times at a wedding we've had, I have left the plug-in in the wall and left the center that we did, or the area or the house or place that we did our bridal party, and never to be seen again. So do not forget to unplug your plug-in to your airbrush in the wall, because I do it all the time. So anyways, just wrap everything else up nicely, put everything away, and that should be it. I hope this helps. I feel like I could have gone over other things, but I can do another video, just a little informative one if you guys want. Maybe I'll ask you what kind of questions, and then that can kind of give me direction on where and what you guys are confused or curious about. One thing I do have to say is when I was in school, I had the choice to take the airbrush class. So I knew that I wanted to do bridal makeup, and airbrush is the way to go. It's different. It's something, excuse me, that your clients don't get on a day-to-day basis. And the reason that airbrush is so popular when it comes to special events, photography, things like that, is because it has an HD effect, okay? And that means it's very blurring. So when the photographer, like I have many photographer friends that have told me, oh my gosh, Kenzie, your airbrush is beautiful compared to just regular foundation. What makes it do that? So it has that HD effect where it gives that blurring already. It doesn't take them a lot of editing to get that blur effect for their client that they're taking photos for. Also, it stays all day. Okay, and it's something that you do need to inform your clients on as you're airbrushing them. For example, a mother of the bride, if this is something that her skin suits, I'm gonna tell her, you know, if you're gonna cry, I need you to dab. We're not gonna swipe our tears away. We're going to take our Kleenex, and we're gonna just dab. Okay, and you always want to tell them to catch the tears right away. Not like, oh my gosh, it's coming out of my eye type of catch, but if it goes down their cheek, to dab it away right then and there, because if the tear sits on there too long, they will have tear marks. It is what it is. You just have to be careful with it, but usually by that time, photos are done, so they don't necessarily worry about it at that point. But in the beginning, you know, just inform them on everything so they get the best use out of their makeup that they got from you. But I highly, highly, highly suggest, if you guys have a choice to take the airbrush class, do it. It is a great add-on service. It is a beautiful application. I really enjoy it, and it just suits many different clients. So if you guys have questions on it and you're interested in taking it when you get back, let us know. Otherwise, I will see you guys later. Okay? Mwah! Bye!